Всем привет! Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Belarusian countryside. And yes, it's true. We have an underground dungeon where nobody can hear you scream. But there's a very good reason for it. And that is food security. No, I'm not talking about people stealing your food. I'm talking about having something to eat in winter. Here, in winter, it gets down to minus 20 for sure, and maybe minus 30, so you've got to preserve your food somehow. This growing and preserving of food stems from millions of people dying of starvation under Lenin and then Stalin, and the generations have never forgotten the trauma of those times. So like here in the country now, you basically have three types of property. You have the kind of property that I live in, which is a very modern house with all amenities based on a small farm owned by someone who's done reasonably well for themselves, so they have some money. The second type of property we find out here is one like the one behind me. You see, with a very small house slash shack upon it, and the rest of the property is just a vegetable garden. Typically these are owned by people who have made some money and live in the city in their apartment, and they just come out here literally to grow vegetables to preserve, because it's part of their culture and their heritage, and they don't want to give it up. The third type of property we find usually is the traditional Belarusian country house. These houses are usually occupied by pensioners, and therefore growing as much of your own food as you can is essential. And obviously in the height of winter here, when it's minus 20, they're not real keen to drive into town in the snowy and the icy conditions, so the more of their own food they can grow and preserve, the fewer times they'll need to go to town during the winter. Alright, we're approaching the shed where our dungeon is kept. Inside the special door here. Let's open it up. Go inside and have a look. Here we go. Now, here's our hatch down to our into our dungeon. Now, when I told Marina I was going to make this film, she went and changed the light globe that's down there. Previously, it was one that was flickering on and off. It was like a scene out of Nightmare on Elm Street or something like that, down there in this deep concrete dungeon with this light flickering. But because she knew I was going to make a film, she changed it, and now it's nowhere near as scary. So let's go and have a look. Okay, let's just climb down in here a bit. Have a look here. Okay. What we have is we have 100 mil of concrete. Then we have 75 mil of foam. And then we have more than 200 mils of concrete below that. So as I said, no one down here is going to hear you scream. Let's go and have a look. Okay, welcome down into the storage facility, into the dungeon. Now, as you can see here on the shelves, we have all the foods that have been preserved this year for winter. Right now it's autumn, so we're right in the middle of cooking and preserving the foods. These are all tomato sauces. This is a capsicum onion mix, really nice on pasta sauce. And then of course we've got our big jars. Let me get it out of the light. Let me get the light here. Full of our cucumbers and tomatoes. And over here we have cherries and apples and apple juice and beans and more capsicums and all sorts of things. And And on the other side of the room, we have the big storage bins. And in here will go the potatoes. I think we've started putting some potatoes in. Yep. We've started to fill her up with potatoes. The potato harvest this year has not been very good at all. It's been the hottest summer for 124 years, but there's just been no rain, so the quality of the potato harvest has been pretty poor. Okay. As luck would have it, when I got home today after doing the filming in the morning, our neighbour came over with a whole heap of potatoes to put down into the underground cellar. Big one, bullshit. Well, there we go, people. Maybe not as scary as we thought, but certainly an interesting insight into how people survive winter here in this extreme environment. Catch you soon.